Yeah, got bit by the same bug that's bit us all year. Just not physical enough, and then offensively, it's it's you play a real good defensive team, and you got to get scoring. We got scoring from our bigs. Couldn't get anything from our guards, and you can't make jump shots, can't get to the line, can't make layups. It's going to be hard to beat a team like Ole Miss that's got some really aggressive scoring guards.
Franca, you mentioned a few weeks ago that, to call this season disappointing might be a little bit of a disservice. How would you describe it, considering everything you guys have been through?
Well, I'd like for maybe the people that cover our team year-round maybe to report it the same way that other teams that have gone through the same situations that we've gone through, to maybe be understanding what our players – if you want to say I coached bad, be my guest. But to say disappointing after what our players have been through this year, that's sad. That's really sad. You want to say I'm not good at my job, fair game. Go report whatever you feel like you need to report. Yeah, it's been hard. It's been a real taxing year. It's really hard. We have a certain way that we do things. Other people do things whatever way fits them. What we do is based on a daily approach of work ethic, of commitment, of understanding, of repetition, that creates the toughness and the connectivity that our teams have always played with. Here and before I got to South Carolina. And unfortunately, this year it's made it really, really hard. And that's why when anyone refers to the team as being disappointing, you have the right, Dave, to ask and write and report whatever you choose. I respect it. I got no problem with that. But it's not fair to our players. You want to report I've done a really bad job. Fair game. Go do that. But what our kids have been through this year, the word disappointing would not be a word I would use to describe what we've been through.
Frank, just with tonight, first quick question, why did Keyshawn and Jermaine not play? And then secondly, what was your message to the team afterward, playing a game really without three key pieces available tonight on the floor, and they still put together a tremendous effort despite having three key guys not available?
Yeah, I mean, all three are dealing with physical injuries and just the mental toll that it's taken on all three is just not fair. It's been extremely difficult, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to put winning games above young people's mental health, young people's physical health. The guys that came to play today were great in practice, and they were competitive early, but we just can't sustain it, and that's what cost. It wasn't lack of depth. It's because those guys have been playing up until today, and it's the same bug. There's certain moments in every game, and when you play real good teams, that your mettle, your spirit gets challenged, and it's been a fight all year for us to find the discipline and the toughness in that moment of those games to continue to fight and have the discipline and toughness to deal with that moment. Today was the same thing, and it was unfortunate. I didn't say much to the players after the game. I'm not a big rah guy before the game, and I'm not a big boom guy after games. It's I make simple comments, and we spend a lot of time talking off the court when we get home. So obviously those conversations and player meetings and all that, I need 2 or 3 days to recompose my brain and then get started with all that stuff.
Frank, it seemed like every game that a big difference in the game was that one big run that a team made. Going forward, how can you go about, maybe correcting that for next year and all? What can you do going forward?
Yeah, it gets back, Dick, to what I just explained about our spirit. So we hit these dead spots offensively, and then it just our resolve defensively kind of goes away. And that first half run, Trayvon Minott was standing under the basket while his man was ball screening. And then, the guy drives the ball and he gets out of the way. And I don't have an answer why he did that in those two back-to-back plays that really kind of showed the lack of resolve in a difficult moment of the game. And why did he do that? I have no idea. I wish I knew. But then again, his first day on campus was January the 6th, and he actually didn't get to practice for a couple of days. And then I was not at practice till January 18th or something like that. And I've never coached a kid, so I'm still trying to figure him out as a player and as a person. And I'm excited about him, but those are the moments that I'm talking about. And but it's been our when we can't put the ball in the basket, it's impacted our spirit, and we don't have. If you remember back to, when I first got here, Thornwell and all those guys were freshmen. We go through really bad spurts offensively when they were young. But Thornwell's spirit, Dwayne's spirit, Michael Carrera's spirit, Mendaugas's spirit would never allow bad shots or missed shots to be broken. That's been a struggle with this team. And I've got to sit back and figure out, this crazy year, the things I did, how I managed it, and see if I'm ever faced with a similar situation, if I got to do things differently than I did this year. But I can't figure that out right now. I've got opinions, but I got to separate from the season and be at peace mentally.
Frank, you mentioned before today and then today again just how frustrating this year's been, just how difficult it's been both on the court and off it. Now that you're at the finish line and this season's over for you guys, just what emotions are you feeling right now? What's kind of going through your head?
Same one that was, the other day at Kentucky. I need to separate from the season so I can evaluate what I did and how we did things and the decisions that I made. I'm just thankful that I feel really good again, that I've got the energy and the desire. January 18th, I ran practice and I came home and I fell asleep at 6:30 at night. I just fell asleep on the couch, and I'm back to where I feel really good and energetic and it's here's the thing. This has been a crazy year. Our team was impacted. I handled some things differently this year than I've handled it my whole career. Where I'm at peace with things is that this is not year 1 or year 3 in my coaching career. This is year 36. Right? I hope you guys understand that. Some of you guys haven't been alive as long as I've been coaching. 36. So I'm at peace with how I do things and how my teams play. And we didn't play that way this year. And like I told you guys the other day, you want to act a certain way or react a certain way, whatever. Based on this year, you have the right to do that. But there's 8 other years previous to this year where my team played completely different than this year's team played. And so I'm at peace with that. I just got to figure out how I handled some things so I can do my job a little bit better.
And I guess with some of the issues you guys had on the court, how confident are you that those are fixable issues going into next season, or is that something you still have to detach from it and figure out as the offseason goes on? Yeah,
you guys cover our team. Did you see those issues last year with the same players? I didn't, and it's just, I got, I have zero concerns that the issues that we had this year are an abnormality. It hurts too when you lose Mike Kotsar, but then you lose Alonzo Frank, who's your best big guy going into the year. And then you don't get practice time to help the young big guys that got to replace them. It complicates things. And I wish I can tell you that life's real simple, but if you look at the teams that finished 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 in our conference, they were not disrupted because of COVID. They went straight through the season. They might have had a player kind of kick to the curb for a couple of days, but their teams weren't disrupted. That's why they've played the most consistent of all the teams in the league.
Trying to get the video to work here. Hey, Frank, just to clarify, the television crew said Bryant Cousinard didn't play because of coach's decision. Is that the same thing that you're saying to us now as to why they did not play?
I mean, Phil, didn't you just hear what I said? I said they're all three are dealing with injuries and then mental health. I'm worried about mentally where they're at. I mean, I can't be more honest than that. I mean, I don't know what answer you want me to give. And I'm looking out. I'm going to look out for my players under all circumstances. They need to be in a place where they're at peace and they enjoy the moment and the game. And, it's so I don't know, I don't know where you're trying to go with it, and that's your prerogative. But I would hope after 9 years, I'm not going to lie to you. So
no. It's just when they say coach's decision, that makes it sound like it's a disciplinary thing. That wasn't it. This is all physical, mental situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it wasn't, I wouldn't. I mean, Phil, if they're in trouble, you're going to find out about it. So why would I make it up right now? I would have told you. Whatever what's the popular line? There's a popular line that every time players don't play, it's like the same quote every school kind of emails to each other. Violation of team rules. It's not what it is, man. This year has been ridiculously taxing on our players mentally and physically. And when you take 7 weeks off of competing and then have to throw your body around to try 7 weeks of being locked up in an apartment, I don't know why that's so difficult to comprehend. And then all of a sudden you come out and 2 days later you have to play in a game and you haven't done any conditioning, any running, any contact. It makes it really hard in people's bodies. There's a reason in football you practice hitting because the game is violent. Well, basketball is the same way. There's a lot of contact and physicality, and you have to train your body. And that's why I said earlier, we do that through the way we practice. I know you guys used to sit there and laugh at me when I first got here because all I did was talk about practice because I was trying to create the mindset of how we need to practice so we can play a certain way. It's all connected. We didn't get that opportunity this year. It is what it is. And that's why I'm telling you, I've got to reevaluate the decisions I made and figure out if I handled things the right way or not. I'm talking about once we got back from COVID on January 18th. But obviously the decisions I make didn't work. And so I've got to reevaluate some of the things I did, but I'm going to protect players first and foremost. I'm not, I'm never going to put winning a game above the what's right for a young person.
All right, last question goes to Dick.
Frank, with all the adversity you went through this year and the players went through, what does it say about your team that you didn't have anybody to quit or want to opt out and all, that they came and they played and you did make it to the finish line tonight?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys. It's, it's frustrating. And the hardest thing I've had to manage coming down the stretch is that, we didn't win enough games. And when you start losing, there's a certain things that are not acceptable. And that's where the mental health component comes from, because these guys are used to winning. They're used to winning. It's not like they're used to what happened this year. And then things weren't working out and we were losing games and we just couldn't, we just couldn't get to the right place. But I'm really proud of the players. The easy thing, they all get their year back after 7 weeks of being shut down and then losing some games. The easy thing would have been to walk in and say, hey, my little toe on my foot hurts. So I'm done. I'm going to opt out the rest of the season. That could have been the easy thing to do. And instead they came in every day. And I don't want to speak for them because I don't sit in here when they do interviews with you guys, but I think they've handled themselves like gentlemen, and that's a credit to who they are. The disappointing part is the game results, and that's been just like this year's been an abnormality. How I've lived my life for 54 years, it's been an abnormality for our basketball team to the way it's been especially here in South Carolina in my first 8 years.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.